First things first, people, deluded. I'm back again. Would you prefer Julian Alvarez or Osimhen? Do you think Arsenal need either? And what do you think that means for Gyökeres, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, indirectly, Mikel Merino, or anyone else that could play up front? We've been linked with both strikers. I'm sure you've seen Atletico Madrid against Tottenham Hotspur got smashed up yesterday. At this moment in time, Galatasaray are in the front. You know, they've moved in front because they beat Liverpool. And predictable media, we've been linked with both. Livramento's always a player we're linked with. We've been linked with him. And Kai Havertz ahead of us playing by Leverkusen has spoken. So if you give me 2 seconds or less, people, time is to smash the like button. We can get into things now. I don't know what to make of things at Atletico Madrid. Me personally, I don't know why. I just think Julian Alvarez, having won everything there is to win, you know, at club level and obviously the World Cup, he's completed football. He's worked under the best manager to have ever arguably managed in England, and you know, one of the best managers of all time in Pep Guardiola. He's won everything. You're at Atletico Madrid, where you got a bunch of South American players, you know, which obviously I'm sure your wife has a lot of friends off the field. You have a lot of friends on and off the field. The way of life, I'd imagine, in Spain is more akin to what he's used to in Argentina, much less the weather than England. But you never know, stranger things that have happened. You lot have seen my videos. I wanted him when we were, well, when City used to sell us players, innit? Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko. I wanted Julian Alvarez. If it was up to me, I think we need a centre midfielder or two. I do think we need a left winger, and I do think we need a striker. You know, we've been linked with, for argument's sake, people like Gordon, Liao, Nico Williams, whether you rate them or not. You know, I would prefer Morgan Rogers. But even if you throw him, who has the ability to play out wide, you're looking at 60, 70 plus, you know, for them. Julian Alvarez, you're looking at 80, 100 odd million. So that's for two players. Before you talk about midfield, where obviously you've been linked with Tonali and this one and that one. There's a lot of big ticket items in it. And is the money going to stretch? Obviously, Zinchenko's wages have been gone. You'd imagine, you know, we've already committed 40 odd million to make Hincapie's deal permanent. We've given a lot of new deals. We need to get rid of Fabio Vieira and Reece Nelson before we talk about the Gabriel Jesus of this world, the Martinellis, the Trossards, and the usual suspects. But after winning the first leg, Julian Alvarez was asked about his future. Will you be at Athletic next season? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. I have nothing to say other than I'm happy. On social media, a lot of things get talked about, but it's nothing. We're very happy competing in all competitions, so everything is going very well. You know, quite a diplomatic answer. Hasn't said yes, hasn't said no. He said maybe. That tells me I'm happy wherever I am. I'm focused on football at this moment in time. Yeah, I might want to leave or I might want to stay, but it's irrelevant because nothing can happen today. Even if I agree and move to Arsenal for argument's sake, I can't play for them till next season. So what do you lot make of that? You would imagine the minute that came out of this individual's mouth, the media lapped onto it and they were doing the most. And this has gone as far as to say Arsenal offered Julian Alvarez transfer hope as Athletic Madrid star cast doubt over future. And we know Berta, that was his former club. Maybe he can pull the strings. Arsenal are showing interest in Atletico Madrid striker Julian Alvarez, who struck twice against Tottenham Hotspur, like Mr. Victor jeans-wearing Gyökeres did on Tuesday at the Wanda Metropolitano. For me, that always gets tongue-tied and can't pronounce on the best of days. Come on, smash the like button. I know you lot are proud of me for that one, man. Carrot Skila, I don't know why I said that. It's just, I struggle to say that. I used to call him KK. If you know, you know. Let's see what this is saying as well. We'll get into that one in a second because it's here. Arsenal target Julian Alvarez opened the door to potential summer transfer after refusing to provide assurances he's staying put at Atletico Madrid beyond this season. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. You never know, but I'm very happy here. You asked me a question that will end up all over the place, but I'm happy. I'm thinking about the day-to-day. I'm working to improve, to give my best here. I've never said anything bad about the club. I'm very grateful. The people also showed me their affection, so I'm very happy. He also said, I have nothing to say. There are things that are said on social media. A lot of things are said, but everyone posts their opinions and it's just snowballs. I'm very happy here, very content and competing in all competitions. Laporta, he's worked at Barcelona. He said, Julian Alvarez is not a player who will break the bank. He's an excellent player who they say would fit perfectly into Barca's system, but he's not a player you have to pay a fortune for, which I think he goes Barcelona, but music to my ears, people. Apparently, his agent has persistently denied he's in contact with any club regarding his client. And remember, he joined Atletico Madrid for 82 million, including add-ons. So you'd imagine they want to make the bulk of that back. As you know, we're going to have to sell players. 8 stars at risk of being sold this summer as financial reality hits hard. I mean, Arsenal are in a healthy position, but naturally, a lot of spending has to be offset with outgoings. And as much as I like Berta giving new contracts, us bringing in 8 players, me genuinely looking at our squad and thinking, defense, good options there, long-term options. Obviously, people could be moved on. Midfield, if you're looking at the age profile, you might have to be looking at, preparing for life without a Norgard, without a Marino, with Zubamendi. Even there's rumors he could go back to Spain, but with Zubamendi, Rice on paper, Miles Lewis Skelly, even Odegaard, I know people were kind of cool there. If anything, with Odegaard and Kai Havertz, it's just maybe, the evolution of our side, the wages they're on, there's a decision to make. The attacking ranks, I think, needs a bit of replenishing, in my humble opinion. But people have to be sold. And your first thing, in terms of, for me, who would command the highest fees, or maybe not the highest fees, but make the most money, it would surely be Miles Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri. They're under contract. They're, you got them. They're for free, 100% profit. Which, if you're looking at the financial board, that could obviously help. I think everything's on the table. I think they could be part of the squad next season. I think both or one and two could be sold. And I think both, if not one, could be sent on loan. So we'll have to see. What do you lot make of Odegaard leaving off the back? Because they're going to mention him. Odegaard's the captain. Apparently, he's one star that Arsenal may consider selling as they weigh up which players would be able to bring lucrative offers to the table. To be fair, you did get him for 30 odd million quid. I'm sure he's happy here. He's got 2 years remaining on his contract. With such the speed we've moved to sign new people to new deals. Again, even people that have had 2 years on their deals, you'd imagine this is something that they've been talking about in terms of giving them a new deal, but it's been quite radio silence. Has been here for 5 years, people, and you would make more than your 30 odd million that you initially gave Real Madrid. Two other players touted are Gabriel Martinelli and Benjamin White. Love Benjamin White. I think we ran him into the ground, but availability is the best trait you could have. There's obviously that. Martinelli and Trossard are always linked with moves away. Whether offers are actually put on the table, Trossard's linked with Saudi clubs all the time. He's been linked with Turkish clubs. He's been linked in this week with Aston Villa and Newcastle. He's been linked with a lot of clubs. Martinelli, Saudi, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. Whether even Odegaard's been linked with Manchester United. These could be nonsense. Until offers are put on the table, who really knows? And you're obviously reliant on players leaving. The priority is to get Gabriel Jesus, in my opinion, off the wage bills, because he's earning a lot of money, if I'm honest. So yeah, Martinelli and Ben White have been linked. And obviously, these are not players that might necessarily be forced out, but I don't think any footballer is untouchable. Everyone's got a price in this life, innit, to a degree. But I do think, for want of better phrases, at this moment in time, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, David Raya, Julian Timber, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, maybe some other names, they're untouchables. Then I think you've got players that need to be moved on. Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Gabriel Jesus. Then I think it's players where they could be part of the squad, but if offers happen, then it is what it is. The Odegaards, the Benjamin Whites, etc., etc. Other clubs have sold academy grads to help balance the books. You saw that with Newcastle and Elliot Anderson. Miles Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri obviously going to be thrown into the mix with that. Kai Havertz, like Odegaard, has 2 further years remaining on his contract and would likely command a significant fee. What is significant fee? Because we're not making back the 60 million we spent on him, but he has been with Bayern Munich. We're playing Leverkusen tonight. Maybe there's something there. Trossard and Jesus will be in the final year of their deals. And you know what? I want to ask you again, if you're offered 20, 25 million today for Trossard, are you going to take it? Because I think there's reasons to and not to do such, people. Because you don't want to, it's all fun and games saying sell these players, but we're going to need numbers next season, even with all the numbers we've had. Look at the injuries and some of the lineups we've had to put out. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on. Again, we've committed to 45 million for Hincapié, so that's factored into this tax year. So we'll have to see how these things develop. We have covered that. We've covered that. Predictable, we've been linked with Osimhen. Apparently, Mikel Arteta wants to bring him to the Emirates. Now, why is Osimhen playing in Turkey? With the greatest of respect, massive club in Turkey, competitive league, playing in the Champions League, but I very much doubt that was how it's meant to be panned out. It can't be an ability, because he's one of the best strikers in the world at this moment in time, when the striker market ain't really there. Like, who would you guys say is the third best striker? Because you'd probably have Haaland and Kane up there. Maybe not in the present day, but some might say Lewandowski. You get where I'm going. It can't be on ability. I don't know if it's attitude. I don't know if it's wages. I don't know if it's some underlying fitness issues. There's got to be something that you're only privy to the information if you're working in football and not armchair experts like ourselves. But apparently he wants to bring the 27-year-old to the carpet. 18 goals, 6 assists in 26 games in all comps, 7 goals, 2 assists in the champs. I'm all for that. Apparently Galatasaray are in no mood to sell the superstar, and he will demand a fee of 130 million euros. So that's 112.4 million. So it's fair to say that this is nonsense, if I'm completely honest with you, especially after we just brought in a striker in Gyökeres. You know, Marino and Kai Havertz can play up there. On paper, Jesus is there. I'm not against another striker, but in terms of big money, you can make logic with signing a top midfielder, maybe a top left winger. If you can get a rotationary option, great. I would love Krupke of Bournemouth, but it is what it is, people. So we'll have to see. So it seems like silly rumors. Hincapié has defended our style of play. We don't do anything illegal. Don't you know, Hincapié, there's an Arsenal tax? You're looking for logic where there's going to be none. Our will to win makes us perfectionists. We pay attention to details. Our set piece strength is talked about all over Europe. That's the result of daily training with our set piece coach, Nicholas Hover. That sounds annoying, but the result means that every one of us is eager to score from a corner or a free kick. The most important thing for me is that we are successful and don't do anything illegal in the process. You can't always win beautifully. Tell us. Apologies, people. What's going on in? Tell me about it. Sometimes you have to play smart and fight to the very edge of what's allowed. You have to have guts in a double winning season. Not all our games were pretty to watch, but we won them. Facts, if I'm honest with you. And this is a man that's obviously won titles himself at his previous club. 59 goals draws us level with Manchester City. So if anybody's anti-Arsenal, it's not us. Arsenal and Man United could be set to battle it out to sign Bundesliga sensation Johan Manzibi. He's a 20-year-old who was born in Switzerland, people. Now currently plays his trade in Germany with Freiburg, and it's been a good 18 months for him, really. So yeah, apparently we've scouted Mazambi and identified him as a player with elite potential, and have held early talks over him, people. We'll do a scouting video on him, people. Why not? Kai Havertz eager to make up for lost time. Obviously, this is the Kai Havertz derby. We're about to play against Leverkusen. Obviously, having two surgeries is not easy, but I think I'm professional enough to know that it's also part of football sometimes. And I know there are so many players out there that went through stages of their career also. I'm still young, so a lot of years hopefully in front of me, but obviously mentally it was tough. I'm confident. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. Obviously, things can always happen, but I'm feeling 100% ready for the games. I'm feeling fit, and I can't wait to help the team in the next few months. And he said 100%. I think that feeling you have after games, being with the boys in the change room, I miss it so much. That's why it was also mentally so hard for me, because they wouldn't be there. And I think it just gave me new hunger. I don't think us as players, we understand the critics. I knew it from before, and I felt it myself when I came to England, first of all, and then when I came to Arsenal. You always need some time to adapt, but I felt even though people who saw him were very critical in the first couple of months, I never saw it because he's a player who helps the team in so many aspects. He's speaking about Gyökeres. When speaking about obviously later stuff, he said, I don't want to use that phrase, don't talk about it when speaking about quadruple. I don't know what they talk about when I'm not here. We all know the difficulty of every competition. It starts tomorrow. We're changing from competition to competition every 3 days. So far, we've done so well. We need to continue to do that. Fair enough. They certainly have more experience in the competition. When I joined, they hadn't played in this competition. That's obviously something that is necessary, like in any other competition. They understand it better now, and they have to perform when talking, obviously, about our new experience. Now, unfortunately, this is behind the paywall, but what would you lot make of Arsenal going for Livramento? We've heard that a lot of the time. Arsenal eyeing bid for Tino Livramento. North London side considering summer offer for Newcastle fullback, with talks on hold of contract extension at St James's Park. We need fullbacks. He's English. We've been linked with him before, even back to his days at Southampton and obviously Newcastle. There's clearly something going on with his future, because there's been talks of a new deal and then it's been put on hold. Is this just, a case of getting two and making 10 in terms of journalists, people? I don't know, but apparently we're keeping close watch on him. I mean, any player we're linked with at Newcastle, we've been linked with Hall, bad boy, a great game against Barca. Him, Livramento, Gomares previously, and now currently probably Tonali, as well as Anthony Gordon. They're all different positions. What do they all share? Apart from obviously playing for Newcastle. Big ticket items. They're all going to cost a lot of money. So the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Apparently, Arsenal have been linked with another striker. We've been linked with Levante's forward, Carl Etta Ehong, people. And apparently, Arteta is a fan. So we've been linked with strikers. I think you're more likely to get one of those kind of strikers that can kind of fight it out with Gyökeres, be a deputy, then an Osimhen or a Julian Alvarez. If there's a chance to get Alvarez, I'm all for it. Should we see what's going on with the injury front with Trossard, Saliba, and Calafiori, who all trains people? He said those two are possibly that they are available. Fair enough. Okay. So let's see the extended press conference, because it's not the best of articles. Said it here. There you go. Odegaard's out. We spoke about Calafiori and Trossard. They've travelled. Saliba and Gabriel are back. Declan Rice and Zubi are obviously there. We know the pedigree of the Champions League people and why we need to turn up and stand up to be counted. We know it's a big game for Kai Havertz just being back anyways, on top of obviously being fit. We'll save that for at the time of making this, the watch along people. Make sure you join me at 4:45 UK time, because we will begin our first of 2 watch alongs. We'll be watching Leverkusen Arsenal and then obviously Real Madrid City, people. So it'll be interesting. Arteta on rebuilding our Champions League pedigree. We don't have pedigree. We've been long servicemen in the competition, but for a long time we've making numbers. We've had some great nights. Barcelona, a couple of times at the Emirates, one under Arteta with Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. But what pedigree? Well, one of our pedigree, unfortunately, is being in the competition, one of the longest serving custodians of this competition and not getting it over the line. And I know it's not as white and black as this, but we got to the same amount of finals as them lot down the lane. I've seen, them lot across the, on the other side of London, they say Chelsea, but they're actually Fulham Broadway, win it twice, so that should have been us. Obviously, it's very different, and they're backed by states. I have to be that guy, but Manchester City and PSG have obviously won it. We're there unfortunately, with Dynamo Kiev and them, man, about not winning it. And that's the one I want. If I had to pick for the players, I say Prem this year, I want the champs, man. We're too big of a club. And I think Arsenal fans, young and old, when it comes to Europe, it's filled with more pain, in it, than success, but all in due time. I believe so, but this is football and you have to show it tomorrow night. I know that you have to be so clear about what the game is going to demand. You need to perform on the day. The Champions League is about the day, and within that day, there are moments, and you have to be better than the opponent. The squad certainly has more experience in the competition. When I joined, there was a big part of the team that hadn't played in this competition. That's obviously something that is necessary like any other competition. They understand it better. Now we have to perform. You start the second part of the campaign, you know what's at stake. We start to play games where you're in or you're out. There's no margin for maneuver. And we're going to face a very difficult contest tomorrow against a very good team. Big up the gaffer. Don't think he said anything wrong there. The only thing you can take is game by game and try tomorrow to be better than the opposition and earn the right to win. We always talk about that. Obviously, we play so many games in different competitions. In the next 3 days, we're going to play in 3 different competitions against 3 completely different opponents. You have to adapt. You have to be very, very early in the match and understand that the game is going to require, adapt to it, and be better than them. I live in the present and I prepare for what I expect and what I feel every single day with optimism, putting everything that I have in and trying to transmit and inspire those players to feel the same way. And then this is football. We have to do it. There's so much to do. There's a lot that we have done, but the most important part is coming tomorrow, and it starts tomorrow. Does anyone disagree with the gaffer?